Welcome, everybody. It is, I like doing this crap all the time, 7:01 on the eastern seaboard of the United States of America. By the way, when I say that, I want to give the proper respect to an old friend who has now passed, Dr. Football, Mr. Bill Chakis. He is the one who started me with all of this. That is how he always opened our show. So again, it is 7:02 on the eastern seaboard of the United States of America, 6:02 Central Time. If you live anywhere around the mountains, I think it's 5:02. If you're on the West Coast, they tell me it is 4:02. And this is In the Batter's Box. It is the NGSC Sports Weekly Baseball Show. I am your host, Ralph Garcia, joined by the usuals and a guest, not a guest host, a guest star host. But first, the usuals. He is the host of the Enhanced Sports Show, 4 to 6 p.m. on Saturday. It's Monday. You got time, but you better start calling in on Wednesday. Because if you try to call in on Friday, you're going to be too far back in the line to ever get into the show. He is also the co-host of In the Batter's Box. He's everything you would want in a guy, except one big issue. He's a Yankee fan, and everybody knows out there, and Michael Bodzenta does not know.
Yankees. He does now.
Michael, you have no clue. I'm not even playing with you right now. You have no clue how much I hate the Yankees. I hate the Yankees. I hate the Yankees. I drink water. I eat food. I try to take care of myself, and I hate the fucking New York Yankees. Anyway, Louis Tenor, welcome.
Thank you, Ralph.
And of course, without this guy, Michael, I promise you, NGSC Sports would be NSS. Anyway,
Yes.
he is, of course, the co-host, the creator of In the Batter's Box, my partner, an all-around good guy. And he weighs now what I weighed 42 years ago. Of course, my partner, Mr. John Doucette. John.
Ralph, as always, good to be with you.
Yeah, he says that all the time. Thank God Almighty. And of course, the special guest star host. One of the things we like to do at NGSC Sports, of course, is very important to me and John, is the interns across the country. Young men and women who, hey, they're going to get an education. They want to be somebody. In this case, they want to do something in the sports world. So we get lucky and we get to find these young men and women across the United States. They get to build their portfolio and they get to give us great content. And this guy right here, I don't even know him. I mean, I don't even have to know him. I just know he brought back one of my children from the dead. Well, not from the dead. She was lost in a storm, and he brought her back in his arms. I didn't even know who the guy was. I knew who she was. Anyway, without further ado, our guest star co-host this evening, he is our baseball writer, the man who brought back the MLB Weekly Digest. This is Michael Bodzenta. Michael, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Ralph. I really appreciate the opportunity, and I really do hate the Yankees just as much as you, especially as a Guardians fan.
Oh.
Okay.
Wow.
Crap. Hey, Michael.
So you're from the DC area. Okay.
We may have a problem now, Michael. I might not be able to let you go. There may only be one way out of this for you, but we can't talk about that on the air. Not that method.
Oh.
We can't talk about that on the air. That is outstanding. Ha! Damn, this guy just made my freaking day. Remember the website. It is ngscsports.com, where you catch all of your current content. Log on right now. What do you think I'm going to tell you that you get first? First, you're going to get, of course, Michael Bodzenta gives us the MLB Weekly Digest trade deadline heating up. Rookies historic night. Damn, oh, what a night. The 2025 Hall of Fame class has been inducted. Michael also gave us breaking news today. I'm not even going to talk about it. I'm going to let him do that in his segment when he talks about that. I got so hooked on Michael there, I forgot about the rest of the freaking website. What is this? Notre Dame football, remain independent or join the Big Ten. That's from Matthew Wilder. You know, I found that to be a very interesting article because
I've been saying that for years.
you know it's all about the money, right? Why is Notre Dame not going to any conference? Duh, money. So you can check. Yeah, you can check that out. All that and more, NDSCSports.com, where we never stop. We get underway with the show. John told me, no, we all know, but anyway, John reminded me that Major League Baseball trades are underway. John, take it away.
Well, the Mariners made their first move as they acquired Josh Naylor from the Guardians for a couple of minor league prospects, pitching prospects. The Mariners certainly needed another bat in that lineup to help out both Cal Raleigh and Julio Rodriguez, and hopefully Naylor can be that guy that can help that middle of the order continue to be as productive as it's been. The Mets acquired Gregory Soto from the Baltimore Orioles for a couple of prospects to help a bullpen that probably does need some help. So early on, there have already been a couple of moves made by a couple of teams that are trying to be contenders and hopefully will stay contenders.
And that's where we look. One of the fun things that we do, and any baseball show would do, Michael, is when it gets to the trade deadline, when it gets time for buyers and sellers, who's buying, who's selling. And the most beautiful thing about buyers and sellers, it's not something that you can kind of figure out in advance, because baseball's constantly moving, Michael. And a buyer might be a buyer 4 weeks before the trade deadline and find themselves being a seller 2 weeks later. You wrote up on some of that as well, Michael. Talk about some of the trades that are happening.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing with the trade deadline in recent years is that the expansion of the playoffs has changed the way teams are looking at it going into the trade deadline. You know, in previous years, certain teams at 500 might have already kicked the can and sold already, but now they have another opportunity to potentially get in the playoffs. So that's why you see certain teams, like even the Royals, for example, are still under, I believe, a game under 500, and yet they've already made 2 trades to go get, Adam Frazier and Randall Grichuk. Nothing crazy, but I think that has definitely changed the way teams look at it going into the trade deadline for sure.
Well, with a game under 500, I mean, they're still mathematically, alive, of course. I mean, it's not like they're like 20 games out, like say the Colorado Rockies. Sorry, but I think if you were in striking distance, say about between 5 and 8 this time of year, it's still a chance. I mean, hey, strange things have happened the last 2 months of the season.
Hey, first of all, for those that are watching, welcome to In the Batter's Box. You guys got a comment? You guys have something bad to say, good to say? Let's talk baseball. Again, the trade deadline being so important, we can talk about the players, but also it's not the players are going to the team. Okay, it is the team that is trying to make a deal to let go of what contracts, players they don't like, the team don't want there anymore. And the teams that are looking to get these players to get themselves in contention. The Tigers, for example, there's talk about they're trying to make a push for Suarez. They're a name. Who are the names out there, John? Suarez is one. You got a couple of others.
Well, Zach Gallen would be another one. Merrill Kelly would be another one. With the Arizona Diamondbacks, who have been flirting around the 500 mark for a while, they've got a decision to make whether they want to be involved in the mix or whether they don't. I mean, the Atlanta Braves are having a tough year, so is some of those players available, especially Matt Olson? Could he be available for teams that are looking for a first baseman and a left-handed bat? I mean, the Washington Nationals, what may they? I'm sure that there are plenty of teams that have been calling about Mackenzie Gore in Washington, and it would take an awful lot to get him from that team. But certainly it's worth the phone call, because Mackenzie Gore is somebody that you would instantly install into a top of a rotation and go from there. And so, I mean, the Colorado Rockies don't have much, but they did trade Ryan McKinnon to the Yankees for a couple of prospects because the Yankees needed a third baseman. So you've already seen some of the teams that are already pretty much out of contention start to make moves. And as we go through the rest of this week, you'll see the other teams that are either thinking about it one way or another, decide to do something. Joe Ryan in Minnesota is another one that a lot of teams are very much interested in, but the Twins are, kind of hanging around. So maybe they don't entertain thoughts about Joe Ryan, but he's a starting pitcher that a lot of teams would love to have in their rotation.
Yeah. Hey, Louis, the Yankees made a couple of moves, but they find themselves in a familiar position again. They need pitching.
Yes,
So
they do need pitching.
They need pitching. So word has it that the Yankees are now focusing their attention on pitching. And we'll talk about Aaron Judge here in just a second. But yeah, that's bad enough by itself. But considering that, Louis, it is now so imperative that if the Yankees are going to stay in this, especially without Judge, they're going to have some arms.
They certainly do. And it's just amazing how at the end of May they were, in the driver's seat, 7 games in the, in the lead against the Blue Jays, and now they beat us. Now they're 5 games ahead of us. So now they need pitching and they need good style of hitting. If they want to try to protect the goofy Blue Jays, because out of nowhere, this just happened just 8 weeks ago. It looked like we were in the driver's seat, and now we're crashing. We need good pitching, and we need to get more good hitting.
Isn't that the beauty of baseball, though, Michael? Isn't that the beauty? Because he's right. When you're looking at it, Judge is healthy. The Yankees are playing. The Yankees are in first place. I'm not like these guys. I mean, I pay attention to baseball, Michael. Don't get me wrong. I've been paying attention to baseball, oh, my God, a long time. But every once in a while, I miss stuff. And Michael, I missed. It was like the Toronto Blue Jays. It was the bus that I was supposed to catch at 4 o'clock. And I missed it because then I looked up for the bus, and they were in first place, Michael.
Yeah, I mean, the Blue Jays have had talent for a while. The last couple of years, they've had these guys. A lot of their guys have been on the team for a while. They've just had a couple breakout guys this year. Addison Barger is the one that comes to mind first. They bought a lot of guys. They're all finally together. Everyone talked about how potentially, Bo Bichette could be on the move at this year's deadline. But now they're, vying for the best record in the American League. And I sure didn't expect this from them. They've proven the last couple of years that, this core might not work, but it's finally clicking and at the right time.
John, that's what we talked about, right? We talked about the Blue Jays getting this core, the core that's been together for a while, wondering, well, what's going on? It doesn't seem to have panned out. Like I said, I missed the bus, John, but here they are, and they're still there.
Well, there's no question. I think the extension that Vladimir Guerrero got really did energize that clubhouse.
Right.
It really did present the feeling that the ownership group had their back and that they were going to do what it was going to take to put this team in a position to be something. And once that was established, I think this team really did decide to take off, and they have. And they're playing awfully well at home. I mean, that's really where the dominance of this team has been, for the most part, has been at home. They've basically been untouchable up there. And as long as that continues to be the case, the Blue Jays are going to be in very good shape. But I really do think that the flipping of this team began when they decided that Vlad Guerrero was going to stay.
Hey, John, show rule. I never do this. Show rule for the rest of the year. There's no need to talk about the American League Central unless Cleveland just decides, or Kansas City decides to come out of hibernation. What did I tell you guys a month ago? Remember I said, John, a month ago? Mm-hmm. It's over. I don't have the bell here. Michael.
Well,
what, Louis? What?
The Tigers have not been playing good baseball. The Tigers have not been playing good.
They've lost their last 12. So,
it's
That's right.
Eight games, and they're still 8 games up.
Right.
They're 8 games up.
In fact,
Michael's right. They haven't been playing.
Well, they may be 8 games up, but if they continue playing this badly, they've got something to do. The trade deadline can't go by without the Tigers making some sort of a move here, because at the moment they don't really have enough.
I like this because I didn't even expect this kind of response when I said that. So hold on. Let's what, Louis? Yeah, Louis, you don't.
Okay, yeah, they do still have a comfortable lead, like John said, 8 games, but the way they've been playing, it doesn't look like it, because losing 11 out of your last 12 does not look like a contending team. Heading into the final of the season, trying to make a run at the division title. So they need to get their crap in gear.
Here's the way I look at it. Yes, and it's going to happen, guys. That's what a baseball season's all about. Ups and downs, the ebb and flow. I'm going to have a losing streak. I'm going to have a winning streak. I'm going to go cold. I'm going to be hot. I look at it this way. Yes. In the last 10 games, the Royals and the Guardians have gained five games. 5 games on the Royals. You know, for the most part, losing 5 games to your division rivals below you usually loses you the division lead, right?
Yep.
But I look at it and I still see the Tigers up 8 games. And guys, seriously, come on. You think now it can happen?
Well, look, this past weekend,
it would be an epic collapse.
Make a statement by on a blue.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, this past weekend they had a chance to make a statement against the Toronto Blue Jays, and they didn't. And I do think that is cause for concern if you're a Tiger fan, because if you want to make it to a World Series, you're going to have to go through them potentially to get there. And the fact that they lost 3 out of 4 at home to the Blue Jays is not a good sign.
Okay, Michael, I'm going to come to you, our other baseball guy. I'm going to counter that with this and see how you feel about this. John makes a point right there. Great point. Here's a chance for the Tigers to show what they're made of against the Toronto Blue Jays. At home, they fall short. Here's my counter. It's against the hot Toronto Blue Jays, a team that happens to be playing better baseball than them right now. So, okay, the Toronto Blue Jays won 3 out of 4. Are we going to be shocked next time they go to Toronto that Detroit doesn't whoop their ass 3 out of 4? I mean, Michael, again, ebb and flow. I know it can happen, and it would be an epic collapse, but I seriously think that the Tigers are going to lose this division.
I don't necessarily think they're going to lose the division, but it scares me with what the Tigers have pitching-wise right now. They really struggle in games where Tarek Skubal doesn't throw. And It was just announced today that Reese Olson, one of their starters, is going to miss the rest of the regular season, potentially the playoffs. So that's why they went out and traded for Chris Paddock from the Twins, but also Chris Paddock hasn't been pitching very well either for the Twins. So my thing is they might keep this division, they might win it, but I don't see, unless they make some moves, how they're really going to make any noise in the playoffs.
See, that's why these guys are here. They make more sense than I do. See, when you put it like that, sometimes that is a recipe for like, be careful. Because remember, Cleveland Guardians, they're a better baseball team than their record would show. So, yeah. You could have. Okay, all right. So I stand corrected. Okay, it's not over yet. Okay, all right. I lose that one. Louis.
Yes.
Not good, Louis. Not good. Now, look, I hate the Yankees. I hate the Yankees. Anybody who knows me knows, Jesus Christ. By the way, Michael, that started with my dad when I was a little boy. I don't remember how old, but trust me, when I say little, I mean 3, 4 years old. My dad said he took me to the Polo Grounds to see the New York Mets. We got home, and I was so excited. And he turned to me and cut my excitement off and told me, "Now I need you to understand something, son. We hate the Mets. I mean, the Yankees. We hate the Yankees. We hate the Yankees." He repeated that to me. I'm talking about holy crap, man. So I can't help it. It's just embedded in my brain. But I love baseball. The guys know I love baseball. And one thing I can't stand is injuries that take away the best players, although it happens. In this case, Louis, this is the guy you couldn't afford to lose.
No, this is the one person who has been, with such dynamic, and then he gets hurt, injured. But there was rumors saying he was going to be out for the season. No, that is not true. I mean, he is going to be back, but the thing is that when he gets back, how good is he going to be? So, this does present some kind of a problem for the Yankee slugger here. And with them now showing the Blue Jays by now five games, it's really going to be hard without him. I don't know how much they're going to be able to do without Judge. I mean, he's a very important piece of this team. He has come through the clutch so many times. He's like Bernie Williams of 20 years ago. Okay, maybe that's not a fair comparison, but you get the idea. When the Yankees need help in the clutch, he came through, and I don't know what they're going to do without him. So this is a concerning issue for the Yankee team and, of course, Yankee fans like me.
It wouldn't be an
Oh.
issue. It wouldn't be an issue if it was the playoffs, because we know Aaron Judge can't play in the playoffs. But it is an issue here. Yeah, I had to throw that in there, Louis. I'm sorry. But
Of
anyway,
course.
real quick, 90 runs scored. He had 90 runs scored? No way.
Yeah.
He has 90 runs scored?
Yep.
Freaking
Well, with 37 home runs, sure.
No. I'm not surprised. 85 RBI, 73 walks. He has 120 strikeouts. The big man's going to strike out. OPS of 1.160. But wait a second. John, you got 90 runs scored already? Holy crap. That's a whole season.
Like I say, with the home runs.
Yeah.
Right. And with the home runs, that's going to, add that number up. I mean, the good news for Judge is the fact that apparently he didn't tear the elbow. He didn't tear the UCL nerve. And if he had done that, not only does he miss the rest of this year, he probably misses the first half of next year too. So that is the good news, that he didn't tear the UCL nerve in his elbow. Other than that, they don't know when he'll come back. And, that would certainly be a concern for a Yankee team that, frankly, is taking on water at the moment. And it's taking on water because of a bullpen that, frankly, stinks at the moment. So that's where the Yankees really do need to focus their trade issues on, is trying to improve a bullpen that can't get anybody out at the moment.
Hold on. And Michael, can you confirm that for me just to make sure I'm not freaking crazy? He got 90 runs scored. Hold on. Okay, never mind. I mean, yeah, he has 90. And so I wanted to find out, anybody got more runs than he does? And as soon as I saw it, I kind of slapped myself in the face like, yo, idiot. Shohei, can you see? I mean, come on. Ohtani has 99 runs scored. John, Michael.
Well, it helps when you have a leadoff hitter in an order that's pretty good.
Michael, let me explain something to you, Michael, because you don't understand this. But I got to ask these guys a question first, because I'm the dunce here. John, Louis, 99 runs scored. Us growing up watching baseball, correct me if I'm wrong, 99 runs was a good year, right?
Yeah, it was.
John, 99 runs, 100 runs scored?
Sure. Yeah,
In a baseball, in an entire 100, Michael, in 162 games, man, growing up, when we watched baseball, 100 runs scored? These guys got it. Holy crap. Anyway, Michael, your thoughts on Aaron Judge, the injury, how it affects the Yankees? What are they going to do? You know what happens when stuff like this. He's going to come back. Is he going to come back too early? Are they going to get bad enough? I said it as a joke. If Judge doesn't perform in the postseason, they need him now.
Yeah, the scary part about this injury is it's an elbow injury, and if he rushes that back, it could potentially mean that UCL surgery that we've seen, like guys like Bryce Harper get, and that moved him to first base. And, obviously Judge has never played first base in professional baseball, but it also creates, especially for the Yankees, an issue because they already have a DH on their team in Giancarlo Stanton, who hasn't played the outfield since 2023. And he was also dealing with more elbow issues, and that's why he missed a big chunk of this season. So now you have a problem of when Judge does come back and he's able to hit, now you have to have either one of them play the outfield when both of them should be DHs. And they also have a surplus of outfield guys who can step in, like Jason Dominguez, Cody Bellinger, and Trent Grisham. But
sure,
you need Giancarlo Stanton and you need Aaron Judge in that lineup at all times. And right now, there's really not a place for all of them.
Stanton, though, he's kind of, so I say, injury prone, so I don't think I can rely on him too much. Because
we're just about to say that.
Insurance policy on it. The team's taking an insurance policy on him. I mean, because this guy is an accident waiting to happen.
By the way, Stanton's hammy's been holding up, right?
Stanton has been really good since he came back. I was looking at him the other day. He's rocking an OPS around 890, and obviously we know what he does in the playoffs. I mean, I feel like Yankee fans, all they care about at this point is Giancarlo Stanton healthy for the playoffs.
Yes.
Only problem, of course, is like Louis said, and he's a hammy, he's an injury, he's a. And right now with Judge gone, Lord knows the last thing the Yankees need is for that Stanton hammy to come visiting. That man.
And it wouldn't be surprised if it happens before the season's over.
And for me, what's so hard about it is this is bad enough the Judge gets hurt, right? I made the joke, but speaking seriously, you know his history in the postseason. That's like, man, we got to make the postseason now. The guy gives it to us in the regular season, and then if he comes back and the Yankees make the postseason. So, Louis, what I'm getting at is it's looking like another beautiful year where the Yankees do not win the World Series, and I'm always okay with that.
On paper, yes, but that's not the official result. So we had to wait and see on that. On paper, maybe.
By the way, I was going through the standings.
There is a ripple effect.
John?
Well, there is a ripple effect to Judge's injury, and that is the simple fact that he's also scheduled to be the captain for Team USA when the World Baseball Classic takes place next spring. This injury could easily stop him from doing that.
Yeah.
I know one thing. I can hate the Yankees all out.
So now you're taking a marquee performer away from an event that baseball really wants.
I was about to say, I might hate the Yankees, as much as I do, but watching this guy play baseball is just beautiful. And what he brings to the game, how he plays the game, how he carries himself, and what that brings to the World Baseball Classic as well. That can't help but feel bad for the guy. Every week, Michael, we take a look around the league at the standings. We talked about the Tigers. We talked about the Blue Jays. We're not talking about the Tigers. And actually, we are because you guys changed my mind on the Tigers. The Houston Astros, 4 games up on the Mariners, 4 games up on the Rangers. Yeah. The Rangers are playing pretty good baseball these days.
I think the Rangers.
Well, the Houston Astros just got swept over the weekend at home by the A's, in which they gave up 32 runs in the 4 games of that series.
By the A's. How are the A's doing, by the way? They got 46 wins. Now they got 46 wins, Louis. Don't tell me you thought they were going to get 46 wins.
They got a shot at 70 wins. They really do.
No. And we're going to be talking about one of those.
It's 70, but other than that.
We're going to be talking about somebody in Oakland in a few minutes, boy, because what we watched, if you didn't see it, you better make sure you watch the replays and highlights of it, because I'm here to tell you, me personally, I got the pleasure of saying I watched somebody have the greatest night I have ever seen in baseball history behind the plate. We'll talk about that real soon. But what we're going to talk about wait, Michael, because you don't get to talk with us. The New York Mets. By the way, Michael, I hate the Yankees. You know what that means, Michael?
What does that mean?
Meet the Mets. Meet the Mets. Step right up and greet the Mets. I was born a Met fan. I've been a Met fan. I'm going to be 63, Michael. I've been a Met fan for 71 years. 71 years. I mean, 8 years before I was born, I was a Met fan. In other words, Michael, I am a Met fan. But I'm also a frustrated Met fan because I'm a Knicks fan, and my teams in New York seem to have this little habit of going long droughts without winning championships. And, of course, Mr. Cohen comes along, buys the team, and says, here's my wallet. And we see these days that doesn't work very well. And the Mets coming out of a Ponzi scheme, and then Cohen and trying to spend his way to a championship, maybe now find themselves with a baseball team that might be able to make a deep playoff run. They're having to hold off the Philadelphia Phillies, who are not playing good baseball right now. The Mets winners of 7 straight. I want you to talk about the Mets. I want you to talk about the Chicago Cubs, Michael. Another team that what the crap happened there. And before I tell you about talking about the West, we got something else we do on this show. Louis, who is the only team in Major League Baseball that can beat the Los Angeles Dodgers?
The Dodgers themselves.
The Dodgers themselves. Finding themselves 4 games up, Michael, on the San Diego Padres. But for me, most importantly, before the season started, the 3 of us had conversations previewing the season. One of the things that we kind of joked about, John was the one who came up with the number, that on paper, this Los Angeles Dodger team looked like they were going to win about 65 games before the All-Star break. Hey, John, by the way, it's right after the All-Star break, and they do have 61. They didn't get to 65. Michael, here are the things I want you to cover. Talk to me about the Mets in the East. Talk to me about the Cubs and what they're doing in the Central. And why aren't the Dodgers? Why don't the Dodgers have 75, 80 wins now?
Well, I really like what the Mets are doing. The Mets are getting healthy right now. Kodai Senga's getting healthy. They just got Frankie Montas back. So those are your big integral parts of the postseason run. For the Mets, it's getting that starting rotation healthy. And I'm interested to see what they're going to do at the deadline this year. I think they could use a bat because of the underwhelming season from Mark Vientos. Brett Beatty's been better, but they could definitely use some upgrades there. And I think, going after a bat like Eugenio Suarez, I know they haven't really been linked to him, but I think he'd be a good fit there, an upgrade at third base, definitely a bat for the Mets. And obviously any kind of back-end starting pitching depth could help them. I'm interested to see if they could potentially bring back Luis Severino at the deadline. I think the A's are selling, and he made those comments publicly saying that he didn't like pitching there, which I think is kind of crazy because he knew they were going to play there and still sign there anyway. But I think he's a guy they could bring back to help bolster that rotation because in the playoffs, it's pitching that wins you games. And then as for the Cubs, they also could use a starting pitcher to help bolster that rotation. Their lineup 1 through 9 is one of the best in baseball, rivaled only by the Dodgers. Honestly, they have really the only hole they have on their team has been third base, but Matt Shaw has been playing extremely well recently. So maybe going out and getting a Zach Gallen or a Merrill Kelly, or maybe even buying low on Sandy Alcantara for the Cubs could be the missing piece for them. They also could use some bullpen help. So maybe you call the Orioles to see the availability of Felix Bautista or the Twins on Griffin Jacks because they sold Chris Paddock today. But I think the Cubs are potentially a sleeper team in the National League to come out and represent them in the World Series. And then as for the Dodgers, it's all about health with them. Which starting pitchers are going to be healthy in the postseason. Kershaw, at his age, can you rely on him to get you big outs in the postseason? His track record's not there. So you could scratch him to the side. Roki Sasaki's hurt and is probably going to miss the rest of the year. Can you rely on a guy like Yoshinobu Yamamoto and Tyler Glasnow to get outs? And then the rest of the guys, it's a lot of other younger rookies or unproven guys in that rotation. So who can the Dodgers go ahead and buy low? They like to buy low on a lot of guys at the deadline. Who can they go out and get? And then their bullpen, Tanner Scott just got injured. So a lot of question marks with their pitching. But regardless, the Dodgers lineup isn't going to go unless their superstar Mookie Betts gets going, because who would have thought here in July that he would have an OPS that starts with a 6? That's insane to me. And I didn't see that one coming for sure. But hopefully he could turn it around for them.
Hey, John, I before you talk, John, I did that on purpose, by the way. Normally I don't do that, Michael. I don't flood somebody out. We wanted you to catch up and get your thoughts on what we've been talking about. But John, as you're listening to Michael, tell me you didn't feel like you were just sitting back with a good cup of coffee, just reading a great article as you listen to him. Well, the guy spits it out.
It was well done, but
man, I love it. Right, hey, John, your thought.
God is the Milwaukee Brewers.
The
one thing he forgot is the Milwaukee Brewers going to play
Tell us about them, John.
They won 15 of their last 18. And for a team that at the beginning of the year traded Devin Williams to the Yankees and looked like this was going to be an off season for them, it has turned the exact opposite. They have put themselves back in contention, not only for a playoff spot, but also for the division lead. And again, for the Cubs, for instance, for them to lose the division lead and have to go through the wild card to potentially make a serious run could be a dangerous proposition for them, despite a lineup that is that good.
Aiden says, I have to agree. Beautiful voice. Aiden, I'm assuming you're not talking about me. You're talking about Michael, because I know I don't have a beautiful voice. I know John don't. Louis damn sure don't have one. So, Michael, there you go.
Thanks.
You got a fan there. By the way, let me take responsibility, and it doesn't fall on Michael, because I did not bring Michael the Brewers, because John, you know how I don't pay attention. So when you started talking Brewers, I turned my head like this. I raised my glasses and said, crap, the Brewers are tied with the Cubs for the lead. I mean,
Oh boy.
yeah, this is going to get interesting. This is going to
Yes.
get very, very, very interesting. Okay, well, listen, some breaking news out in Major League Baseball today. Bad breaking news out today in Major League Baseball. As I'm sitting here minding my own business, I get a notification on an email, and the only thing that I see, the only thing I see about it, well, who sent it, that was Michael. And what was the word that got my attention? Breaking. Michael, breaking news. Talk to us.
Yeah, Guardians closer Emmanuel Clase was placed on the investigative leave today in relation to betting. A couple weeks ago, or about a month ago now, was Luis Ortiz placed on the investigative leave, and this is just worst case scenario for the Guardians, losing one of their potential biggest trade chips. A 27-year-old closer with team control. This is bad news for the game, and if you think about it, it's a big guy who could have been traded for any team that needs a closer. This is it's worst case scenario, and I think this is something that the league could potentially have a problem with going forward. I think there's going to be more guys in the future that get busted for this stuff. You look at last summer, Tucapita Marcano got banned for placing bets on games while he was injured. And we now have two pitchers from the Guardians who have been placing bets while they have been actively taking the field. So I'm really interested to see what Major League Baseball finds in their investigation with Clase, because there's some people that are saying guilty until proven, or innocent until proven guilty. But in the end, I don't necessarily think Major League Baseball is going to place these guys on a list and essentially suspend them for months worth of games if they don't already have significant evidence against them.
John, good point. Something that Michael said there caught my attention. The last time we had a big scandal in Major League Baseball was a steroid scandal. I mean, it was huge, right? And Major League Baseball had to just really repair. I don't even, have they even recovered? Have they even recovered, really? But it took a whole lot to try to get baseball back from that. And when Michael said there, caught my attention, because number one, guys, first of all, you have to be a special stupid to be betting on baseball games.
Absolutely.
And you're a professional baseball player. You got to just be a special stupid to do it. But John, we know what's happening. We know it's happening. I'm willing to bet there are plenty of players out there doing it. But here's the thing. Michael said it. This could be the next big thing to blow open, because now you're having these guys getting caught back to back. Major League Baseball is going to have to start thinking, we're going to have to start digging deep here, man, because there's got to be more to this.
Well, this was the criticism of the A's moving to Vegas, now wasn't it? That Major League Baseball would get themselves caught in a potential situation that might implode on them. And it looks like that's exactly what's beginning to happen, that there are players that are betting on games while they're playing in these games. They could actually be betting on games they're playing in. That I'm assuming will be part of this investigation as well, as to whether or not he was doing that too. But certainly in Clase's case, It changes everything as far as the Guardians are concerned, and certainly puts Major League Baseball on notice that they need to do a much better job of policing what's going on within their ranks, because it appears it's starting to run amok.
Louis, you make millions of dollars, right? Millions of dollars
Right.
playing a game that you love. Why do you have to just choose to be so stupid? Especially, especially in a day and age where now the sports gambling is wide open. People have accounts. It's like you literally are committing a crime and then putting the breadcrumbs out there to get caught. It's really stupid, Louis.
It's stupid indeed. I mean, you know what, especially how the sports media is, and there's people watching you every move you're making, and you just set yourself up for a big downfall, and it's going to be spreading all over the league probably. I mean, we had someone, the steroid scandal was bad enough, and it was caught with the home run chase, and now we got this. So when this thing gets wide open, there's really going to be some hell to pay.
And the other thing I thought about that Michael said was, Clase is a major trade piece, right? So it isn't just that he screwed this up and screwed it up for himself. He screwed it up for his team. He screwed it up for the organization. And now you start to worry, how many more are out there? I'm not just talking about little guys, because look, I don't condone it. If you're on a minimum salary, which, by the way, you're still making a lot of money, but if you're on a minimum Major League Baseball salary, you just feel like, and you're going to do it to make more money, first of all, you're stupid. But okay, at least you had a stupid excuse to do it. How about the big names, Michael, that may come up? Like you said, the effect that this has on Cleveland, what they could have used as a trade piece, what it could do to other teams if other players are found out. Oh, man, I mean, it could get ugly.
It really could. And, like, there's still people that don't believe the Ohtani story. And there's a lot of people that don't believe that. And, that's something we'll never know. But as for the Guardians, I don't think Clase or Luis Ortiz will ever play Major League Baseball again, especially not for the Guardians. And who knows when he was potentially betting on games, and who knows if he was throwing games. As a closer, you have all of the power. He just blew a save on Saturday to the Royals. And who knows if that was potentially on purpose, or some of the games games last postseason. He was the best reliever, like one of the greatest reliever seasons we have ever seen last year, and then all of a sudden the playoffs come and he pees down his leg. And who knows? And I don't think Major League Baseball will ever let it get out to the point where they will let the media and the public know that they had a player throw playoff games, because that would be awful for their PR. They will never let that get out. But it's definitely something that people are going to start to question. And as for the Guardians, that's someone who could have got you 2 or 3 very good prospects, and now he has no value, potentially could never play, and it's really going to hurt this franchise.
Maybe with the rest of the league,
that's even more. That's even more than special stupid. So, John, again, now we'll wait, because obviously Major League Baseball is going to have to do some investigating. So now we wait for all these other shoes to drop, because I got a bad feeling there's going to be some more big names. We'll see.
I think I found the eating of the week.
No, there'll be some names, that's for sure, and this investigation will certainly take the rest of the season. So it's going to be quite a while before you find out what Major League Baseball eventually has and what they decide to do. It could very well be in the off season before they do anything of any magnitude on this. But there's no question that Major League Baseball now has a problem, and it's a problem that they need to address as quickly as they possibly can, and frankly as sternly as they possibly can. And we all have to remember, the collective bargaining agreement expires after next season, December 1st of 2026. That agreement comes to an end. And that could also become a new part of the next collective bargaining agreement that the owners and players will fight about.
Yeah, this could get ugly. Look,
it already is ugly.
It already is ugly with Bryce Harper and Rob Manfred.
Yeah. True. Yeah, boy, what the? Yeah, Michael, talk about it. What the hell happened?
I think it's just a little foreshadowing. The players do not want a salary cap and will not go for it. And which honestly, why should they? They want to make as much money as they possibly can. And the owners, which I see both sides. The owners don't want what the Dodgers are doing. They don't want this to take over the game because there's teams like the Tampa Bay Rays, the Miami Marlins, the Athletics, and the Guardians who are just going to continuously be at the bottom. And
but that's a major sticking point, though.
How there's other ways you could potentially fix it, but I just see this being a very long dispute, and people already see it 2 years out in advance, and I don't know how they're going to fix this.
Yeah, I don't know how.
Within the next 2 years, I don't think so. Ugh.
I don't know how. So I'm looking at a tweet from Sarah
Well,
Lang.
it's just become a college baseball. This will just become a college baseball show. That's what will happen.
Wow, John. Yeah, right. Why not?
Yeah.
So I'm looking at a tweet. I'll never call it X. What the hell am I called?
No.
Right. So I'm looking at a tweet from a Sarah Lanes at Slings on Sports. Sarah writes, most extra base hits in first 66 career games in the last 125 seasons. Joe DiMaggio is number one at 48, and I'm sure that surprises absolutely no one. No one. Ted Williams has 42. Bob Musial has 42. Jordan Alvarez has 41, and Ryan Braun has 41. But there's a kid that's got 43. His name is Nick Kurtz. He plays for who? Oakland? And the other night, matter of fact, can I hold on, guy. Let's do a little sharing here. Let's see if I can get this done.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure there's going to be an ad, but we'll deal with it.
Okay, this is weird.
One to Kurtz is at 288 on the season, and it is steadily climbing. 0-1, driven the other way and down for a hit. Hummel moves over to get it, and it'll be a long single for Kurtz. That extends his hitting streak to 12 games. In the American League, he has certainly made an impact on the baseball. 38 extra base hits since April 23rd. That's the day he made his major league debut. Now he goes inside out deep to get about that baseball. Come on.
It's ridiculous.
His 20th of the year, make that 39 extra base hits for Kurtz on the year, and that is a screamer to left. 1-2, high in the air, deep left center field. Traveling back is Hummel, and it is off the wall. Cortez coming around to score, and Kurtz has a double to the deepest part of the ballpark.
Churn it up, Big Amish. A swing as smooth as butter, baby.
0-1 in the air to deep left. Houston, you do have a problem. His name is the Big Amish.
This kid is incredible.
10-2, his second home run of the night, his 21st of the year, and the Astro faithful are fed up with Kurtz.
And if you've got a seat to this ballgame in the Crawford boxes, just hold tight. Nick Kurtz will get you a souvenir sooner or later.
First pitch. Oh, my!
Oh, my goodness.
Right.
It's unbelievable. This kid is on another planet.
He has done it. A 3-homer game for Nick Kurtz. Oh, my goodness. It's 11-2 Athletics. A single double and 3 homers for Nick Kurtz. There is not a better player right now on the planet. This is unbelievable.
Swing and a drive. Deep to left.
Come on, Jenner. How about one more?
4 times.
What a magical night for the Big Amish. Smooth as butter, baby. Shout it out. Incredible. Simply.
What?
Now he almost
what do
hit
you-
a fifth
what do
one,
you-
too.
Right. So the only thing that he didn't do was hit a triple. He had a single, a double, 4 home runs, 6 for 6, 8 RBI. Heck, yo, listen, it was just goosebumps for a team that has gone through what they've gone through, and they're waiting to get to their new home. John, I go to you first. I know we have seen some. I remember way back in the day. You'll know better than me, Mike. Mike Schmidt had an incredible game. I felt like he had like 20 RBIs.
Yeah,
that game.
against the Cubs.
Yeah.
The Cubs, yes.
Yeah. But this night by Nick Kurtz, wow.
Unreal. First time rookie ever did that.
Well, the impressive thing about what he did is that 3 of those 4 home runs were hit the other way. That's the impressive thing about what he did. But other than that, I mean, it's just one of those nights that you dream about if you're a baseball player, is to be able to basically own anybody and everybody you go against, and that's basically what he did.
Casey got 33 fantasy points last night. Listen,
Nice.
Louis, I'm going to go to you before Michael. Louis Kurtz, he said it himself in a post-game interview. Because what's the saying that we would say? Oh, it's the things that kids dreamed about when you were a little kid. Listen, when you were a little kid, you dreamed about hitting a Grand Slam home run. You dreamed about winning the World Series. If you dreamed as a pitcher, you dreamed that you pitched a perfect game. You didn't dream that you went 6 for 6, a single, a double, and 4 home runs. As a rookie, you didn't dream that, Louis. But what a night!
That was history in the making right there. No rookie has ever done that. Well, welcome to the big leagues. Now, if only the rest of the team was just as good. I mean, because while Coons is doing, seems to be doing all the work, the A's just suck. I mean, 46 and whatnot, still. But Coons, I think, is got something special going here. The way he's been going. I just wonder how many more games can have like this between now and the end of the season. I mean, this kid looks to be on fire.
At least the A's got them. Yeah, the A's got themselves something to talk about. They got a little star there. Listen, Michael, what a night!
Yeah, I mean, the A's got themselves a solid little young core with him, with Kurtz, Jacob Wilson, Tyler Soderstrom, Lawrence Butler. If only they could get some pitching, they could be a problem relatively soon. And we'll see what what the move to Vegas does. Maybe they go out and spend a little bit of money to try to help the fans, gain a fan base in Las Vegas. But I'm interested to see how teams handle Kurtz going through the rest of the season. If you look, he hit a fastball up and in for a home run. He hit what looked like a changeup outside to the opposite field. So a lot of times teams will adjust to rookies as they come up, but he's proven he can hit breaking balls. He can hit fastballs. So I think at this point, he might steal the Rookie of the Year award away from his teammate Jacob Wilson if he keeps playing this way.
I mean, John, you don't get on a list. You don't get on a list that includes Ted Williams and Joe DiMaggio or a Bob Musial. You don't get on a list as a rookie. The kid's having a great year. So I just, hopefully the A's can hold on to these kids and, like Michael said, build themselves a pitching staff, get to Vegas, and who knows, right? Who knows? All right. Here's some names for you guys.
There are some people who think that the A's can be a playoff team before they get to Vegas.
That would be
Yeah.
Considering their story and what they've had to go through these last few years, as bad as they were a couple of years ago, that would be one hell of a feel-good story. That would be a feel-good story. Dick Allen, Dave Parker, CC Sabathia,
Deserved.
Ichiro and Billy Wagner have now immortalized themselves in baseball forever as they have entered the 2025 Hall of Fame class, MLB Hall of Fame class was announced. Michael, take it away.
My first thought on this, I have two thoughts. My first thought is that it took Billy Wagner way too long to get in. I think he should have been in a lot sooner than he was. And it's also a disappointment that Dick Allen and, Dave Parker were not able to, see themselves go into the Hall. But I think all five are very deserving. And I really just wish we could see who that one voter was that didn't vote Ichiro in. Because I don't know, there's some players that should be unanimous, and I certainly thought that because a guy like Ichiro, you're never going to see another player like him again. I really don't think a guy who, I think he only had around 100 career home runs, but he played for so long, over 3,000 hits. A guy like that is just, it's not. Their modern hitters aren't like that anymore. They don't have the same philosophy. So I think a guy like that, he 100% should have been unanimous.
Well, let's put it this way. No matter how much 99% of people think that it should have been in, there's always be one dumb schmuck that has to decide, nah, I'm not going to let him in for whatever reason. But it's got to be a personal issue. But for the most part, of course, he deserved to get, 100%. But there's always going to be that one dumb moron who thinks differently.
Louis, you said it great. You said it great because it's Ichiro. Ichiro, people, if anybody knows one little lick of shit about baseball, the guy's a first ballot unanimous Hall of Famer. He should have got 35.6 billion votes is what he should have got.
Yes.
You get one asshole who wants to just, but it happens. John, you and me and Louis, of course, we had the pleasure of watching the likes of Dick Allen. I'll bring Dick Allen first up. The older guy here, really good baseball player. Dave Parker, of course, we are family, part of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Part of the Pittsburgh Steelers. By the way, people, when the Pittsburgh Steelers were really good, Steelers. I hate the Steelers too. When the Pittsburgh Pirates were pretty damn good. But before you go, John, again, I don't mean this as any knock whatsoever. We always have a question: who got snubbed? Who got in? Michael made the great point. Agree, Billy Wagner. That was too long. Billy Wagner, wait. He's finally where he belongs. CC Sabathia. I asked you before, John. I've asked Louis before. CC Sabathia, the Hall of Famer. I don't want to knock the guy's career, but I still don't feel CC's a Hall of Famer. Convince me, John.
I think it's probably one of the best star-studded Hall of Fame classes that Major League Baseball has put together in some time. And yeah, I do think CC Sabathia is a Hall of Famer. And he became a Hall of Famer with his half season that he spent in Milwaukee after he got traded there and put that team on his back and got that team to the playoffs and got that team to the League Championship Series before they would finally lose to the Dodgers. That, as I think, what flipped people's opinion about CC Sabathia. Then he got to the Yankees, and he continued to be a dominant pitcher for them for several more years after that half season in Milwaukee. I think it's the back end of Sabathia's career that really did put him in the Hall of Fame as much as it did the first half of his career in Cleveland. Dave Parker was a tremendous right fielder. And if you've seen clips of his appearance in the All-Star game in the Kingdome in Seattle, no less, some of the plays that he made in that particular game were certainly Hall of Fame worthy. Dick Allen was a tremendous power hitter during his days with the Phillies and with other teams that he was associated with. That's why he's in the Hall of Fame. And Billy Wagner was certainly a very good closer, a consistent closer for several teams that he was a part of, and that's what got him in as well. But again, in Sabathia's case, it for me it really started with that half season in Milwaukee. That was where he suddenly became somebody that you would start to pay attention to.
And I asked the question wrong. Not if CC Sabathia is worthy of the Hall of Fame. Was he worthy of a first ballot? I have an argument here from. I have an argument here, or at least making the case. Is I don't see what the writer is, but from MLB.com, I really do like the case that's made here. This writer writes, if I could just find it again, I will get here. It is. Sabathia joined Ichiro as a first ballot Hall of Famer. The workhorse left-hander threw 3,577 in a third innings across 561 big league contests and surpassed the 200 inning threshold 8 times. Now, I like that, but this is the sentence that got me. He, Steve Carlton, and Randy Johnson are the only southpaws with at least 3,000 strikeouts and 250 wins in the major leagues. He also won the AL Cy Young Award with Cleveland in 2007, was the ace of the most recent Yankees World Series title teams 2 years later, and as John mentioned, and then took the Milwaukee Brewers to heights. So I just first ballot. I'm not sold on.
Okay, I mean, first ballot, second ballot, okay, fine. I mean, he's in the Hall of Fame, and he should be, and then that's really all in the end that matters. Whether you get there as a first ballot Hall of Fame or second ballot, whatever it is, he should be in the Hall of Fame. He's there, and that's what matters.
Oh, Michael, it was a lot of fun watching Ichiro. Oh, it was a lot of fun watching him. That guy. The
only problem with Ichiro is the fact he ended up playing for some bad teams in Seattle, especially early on in his career. They didn't win anything while he was there, and that would be the only knock that you would have against him. And maybe that is the reason why there was the one voter that decided not to vote for him, is because there were no team awards here. They never went to a World Series. They never got to an American League Championship Series. They never got to those things. That would be the only knock you have against him. Other than that, his individual numbers are certainly Hall of Fame worthy, but unfortunately, he never got the team anywhere.
Which are out of his control, because that Seattle Mariner team that won 155 games that year. I mean, it should have. God, Jesus Christ! You were supposed to win the World Series that year. That wasn't even a question about that. What a team that was! But listen, when I think of Ichiro, right, the other guy that I kind of think of right away alongside him, I think of Tony Gwynn. Two guys that can put the baseball bat on a baseball. They just had this ability to make contact. And in a game that's now filled with home runs and offense, Michael, we talk a lot about one of the things that you haven't had a chance to experience in baseball: small ball, the stolen base, the manager actually managing. I mean, because analytics now has taken over. And I'm not saying analytics is bad, but you can't forget the game and what it was. Vince Coleman, Maury Wills, come on, Lou Brock. These guys run. You'll never see a guy steal 125 bases again. It's like, it's a different game. It's a whole different game, Michael. But congratulations to these guys, and I can't wait to make my first trip next year to Cooperstown. Not Cooperstown, to Canton. I need to go to Cooperstown too. I got to go back there.
Don't we all?
Yeah, gotta go back. I'm going to go to Canton. I talked to the wife, John. We're going to Canton. We're going to cover the Hall of Fame next year.
I had to go myself.
Yeah. All right, gentlemen. Fantastic show. We've covered so much here. So I guess. Yeah. So this is when I come and we end the show this way, Michael. Louis, final thoughts.
Well, I'll just put it this way. Clase gets my definite pick for inning of the week for his actions. No doubt about it.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty stupid. Pretty stupid. John, final thoughts?
decided that the All-Star game was that if the Tampa Bay Rays do make the playoffs, that they will play their playoff games at Steinbrenner Field. They will not go to Miami and play in the Marlins ballpark. And that was an interesting decision to make because of the fact that you're talking about a lot of seats here that might have been used in Miami that obviously will not be used at Steinbrenner Field based on its capacity. But the fact that Major League Baseball has decided that they're going to allow the Rays to play in a spring training facility if they make the playoffs, I think is a very interesting move.
Going to be very interesting. So, Michael, what this is, every show that I do, I have what's called final thoughts. And basically what it is your final thoughts, what we've discussed, or maybe something that we didn't discuss that you want to bring in. So I ask you now, Michael, final thoughts.
I just think that this week is going to be really interesting in Major League Baseball to see where each team kind of views themselves. Who's going to go out and make the big splash come Thursday at 6 p.m.? You know, is there going to be a crazy name that no one even talked about that gets moved? Is there going to be a team that's fringe that decides they're going to go all in? Is there a team that's, you know, we think is going to buy that's going to sell? I think that's going to be the most interesting part. Like, do the Red Sox trade Jarren Duran? Stuff like that. I think it'll be really interesting to see the way this trade deadline unfolds.
But Michael just took my part of my final thoughts, which is good. That's a good thing when my final thoughts get taken. So then I'll go to other final thoughts, like Mr. Cohen, sir. You spent a lot of money. We've gotten to this point. Juan Soto appears to be finding his groove. Some baseball expert said that Michael, what is Jeff's last name? Passan, Passin? What the hell is his last name? How you say it?
Passan.
I've been calling that guy Jeff Passan for freaking years. Jeff Passan.
Yeah.
Okay. I think he was the one who said that he believes that Juan Soto is poised. Somebody said Juan Soto is poised to have a big second half. First of all, that would not impress me at all. Why? He's getting paid $10 billion freaking dollars to have a great season. Okay, so what? He's behind the 8 ball. Vientos, papi, you're gonna wake up for what? You know what I'm saying? You had this really freaking good year last year, and we're really looking forward to this season in your production. I don't know what locker you have it in, but it's time to go to the freaking locker and open it, and let's get on the ball here, because we're going to need you to close this out to win this division. As far as the Yankees are concerned, Aaron Judge, it's bad. You don't want that to happen. But since I hate the Yankees, Aaron, sit your ass down, get healthy, don't rush. Giancarlo, can you hear me, Giancarlo? Time for the hammy, baby. Time for the hammy.
It'll happen.
Yeah, all of that to say, as always, I always look forward to a good Yankee 9, 11, 12-game losing streak. I always look forward to those things because it's always fun to have Louis on the show when it comes to that. Other than that, this is In the Batter's Box. It is the NGSC Sports Weekly Baseball Show. I'm your host, Rob Garcia, joined as always by John Doucette, Louis Tenor, and tonight by Michael Bodzenta, baseball writer, of course, for NGSC Sports. Please remember the site, ngscsports.com, where you catch all of your current content. I'll be back Wednesday. And Wednesday, we are bringing the NGSC Sports WNBA podcast. I will be so happy to have Betty Lacey Cantley join us on the Inscriber Network to talk WNBA. And of course, I'm going to enjoy having my new co-host, Miss Keisha Jackson, who also happens to be my daughter, as we speak all WNBA stuff. Louis, pay attention. Louis, you want to come on the show? Man, you better do some serious WNBA homework. Got to do some, because I'm going to be talking with some two heavyweights. These two women, they're deep.
I'm sure.
Anyway, until then, thank you for joining us. Peace.